Dear Heavenly Father, please be with us and guide us as we go through these decisions impacting the college and our community. And let us to the right decision. Be with us as we make these decisions. And let it teach us to be kind to one another, as you never know the struggle of the man across the street from you. Be nice. In your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I think everybody's got a copy of the agenda in front of them. We have a motion to approve it. So moved. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Approval of the minutes from the April board meeting.
I'll second that one. That's a good motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Going now to consideration of the college financial report. Ms. Eubank?
Starting on page 8 of the board books. Look at this year today as of March 31st compared to previous fiscal year at the same time. You can see revenue is pretty comparable to where it has been in previous months to where we've seen. It's progressing along in similar patterns as usual. On page 9, our expenses did jump a little bit this go around. We did have some one-time expenses included in the current fiscal year that are unique to this period. So in comparison to previous fiscal year, you'll see on page 10, the revenues minus expenses being slightly behind last year's, but is a tiny difference due to those items in this fiscal year. Following that then are the details of those numbers on page 11 and 12. And then on page 13, we look at budget versus actual as of April. So still preliminary numbers in April, but looking at our revenue, you can see that compared to our budget, we're doing well as planned on those numbers. And then on the bottom half of that page, looking at expenses, sort of using that 83% into the fiscal year as a guide, you can see that pretty much all of those categories are on target or even below spending patterns. So being very frugal on that side of it. So we're doing well this time of the year. And then on page 15, you can see our capital budget, those projects moving forward. Again, Mr. Dr. Payne will give an update on some of those projects in his report. Following that, then on the looking at cash balances on page 18, looking at our pie chart. This is as of May 3rd. So moving well into the spring term there, not quite into our summer term. So that's a pretty average cash position there. Following that, you can see our list of CDs. We did have a CD that matured. We actually had a few. We had a scholarship CD that we transferred to the donor trust for the donor's request. And then we had a couple of college investments that also matured, and we chose to cash those out as we were getting a higher rate of return in our checking account than those quoted for renewal on the certificate of deposit. Following that, then on page 23, you see our bid report. We just a few of those out. At least one of those, we're looking at CARES funding. So we've got a lot of that going on in the budget, and then planning for summer cleaning of the housing apartments and the annual audit. We should be able to bring to you at the next meeting. Any questions?
Discussion, questions from Ms. Eubank? We have a motion to approve the financial report.
I'll make that motion.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We'll now the president's report, Dr. Payne.
Yeah, so we'll share the screen.
Sorry, one second.
Love technology that works.
Excellent. All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. We will start with some construction updates. The softball field is nearing completion. In fact, we hosted the district tournament there, and it was a wonderful way to unveil the new softball field that drains appropriately and looks very nice, because we won both of those games, and it was a beautiful, beautiful day.
Because of the field, I'm sure.
Because of the field, it all worked out absolutely phenomenal. Moving on to the baseball field, it is making progress, and it does continue to rain, which does get in the way of heavy dirt work. So we are hoping that it will dry out soon and we can complete this project. A great deal of work has been done. You can see there that the concession stand has been reskinned to match the new dugout, so it all matches what's going on in softball, and it keys off elements of the Live Family Sports Complex, so everything looks like we did it on purpose. Lady Raiders softball on Saturday at 7:30 a.m. Bass Activity Center parking lot. We're going to give them a big send off. So everybody available, come join, cheer them on their way to Yuma, Arizona, as both the Region 16 champion and the Division I Midwest District champions. So they're going to nationals. And I've asked our athletic director, Coach Brian Bass, if he will present a little bit of update about Raider athletics.
So I have a couple of the coaches here, and so if they want to add to or whatever, but I know Tyler just want to tell you thank you for all the hard work on the field. Not trying to take word right now, but anyway, and then Coach Wiggs want to say thank you for the trip to the national tournament. My update is on all the athletes that made postseason awards. So in men's basketball, Brian Harris made all region and all conference. Kevin Jones made all conference and second team all region. And Dominic Harden made second team all region and second team all conference. Women's basketball, Shaylee Mosby was first team all American, which that is really hard to get. So we're really excited about that award. She was region 16 player of the year, and she also was first team all conference. Maya Yoder was third team all American, all region, and all conference, first team both. Maya Haywood made the all national tournament team out there, and is also first team all region, first team all conference. And Jemiah Thomas made the all national tournament team. Autumn Dodd made first team all conference and second team all region. And Jordan Montgomery made second team all region and second team all conference. Coach Alex Wiggs is here. He was Central District Coach of the Year, Region 16 Coach of the Year, and Conference Coach of the Year. So the softball team, Lauren Joyner, who plays first base, was the Region 16 Player of the Year. She was first team all region and first team all conference. Jamie Lee, who plays in the outfield, made all region and all conference. Molly Spangler, who's our shortstop, made all region and all conference. Kyla Puckett made all region and all conference. She plays third base for us. Brianna Everett is a catcher and also a DH or whatever you call it. And she made first team all region and first team all conference. Kenny Puckett as a pitcher made all region and all conference. Zoe Bisbee, our second baseman, made second team all conference. And then Coach Noel got Region 16 Coach of the Year and the Midwest District Coach of the Year. And as you said earlier, they leave for nationals in Yuma on Saturday morning for the send up after graduation Friday night. The baseball team had Cade Kinsella, made first team all region infielder. He's our first baseman. And then Austin Brock made second team as a pitcher. And Mason Liva was the defensive player of the year at catcher. Our rodeo team has 2 bull riders that are going to compete for nationals in Casper, Wyoming, June 11th through the 19th, and that's Cole Skinder and Holden Moss. I don't know if you're going to go like thing, but that should be a good time in Casper, Wyoming. There is such a thing.
Casper or a time Casper?
I just thought she was out there somewhere. No, but we're really proud of our athletic program to have 2 teams be able to go to the national tournament, plus the rodeo guys get to go. We're really excited about how our athletic department's going and moving. And also all the work on the fields. Coach Noel was excited about his field. From my office, you can see no fencing. And I'm like, when are they gonna finish that, Coach? And he goes, oh, no, we're finished. It has a net to catch all foul balls. So the backstop all the way to first base is netting. And from my office, you're like, man, you can see right through to everything. It's beautiful. So anyway, it's a little different, and I thought that was unique. And Coach Noel said he liked it a lot. He said the girls, it was their first time to play on the field. None of them got to play during the COVID year. They only got 15 games in, and so sometimes some of them are all of them. It was like we have 2 girls that are on their 3rd year, but all the girls that are in there, that was their first time to play on the home field. So they were so excited about that, in addition to winning the district championship. So, any questions about any of that? We're just excited about our athletic program. Coach Wiggs, anything you want to add? He's Coach of the Year. I'm really proud of him, and I guess everybody is. So anyway.
I think
His recruiting's going well again, what you can imagine.
Coach Noel was Coach of the Year as well, isn't he?
Yes, both. Both are getting a lot of hard work.
Great job by coaches and players. And very proud of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
We may have to expand our budget when we do adjustments to allow for more national tournaments. I know we need to buy 4 light bulbs for the top half of the 3rd inning. One of them ladies knocked those out the other day. So we'll come up with some money for light bulbs. Keep them swinging.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach Ben. So coming up next, I want to talk about the Industrial Technology Fair. We were really happy to be able to just hit it, just click it forward a while ago. Very happy to be able to. Oh, we're locked up.
Yeah. It's locked up.
Over, we've got hackers.
Yeah.
We're not paying them. We're not paying our
Oh, it's a vocal rock.
All right, so the Industrial Technology Fair, while we get that back up, happy to host this. We had a number of area career technology centers participate, even though it was the year of COVID and wonderful. And then moving on from that, the Poplar Bluff Teacher of the Year ceremony was held. We were proud that Stephanie Brunquist was awarded Teacher of the Year from Three Rivers College by her peers, and West Montgomery was awarded the Adjunct of the Year. And then we talked a little bit about Happy Days as an upcoming event. The Happy Days performance did take place. They were able to perform it outside on Friday and Saturday. Sunday was raked out, but they did an incredible job with the performance and had a really, really good crowd. They averaged considerably more than 200 on each of those nights. And it reviewed very, very well. Our behavioral health science program was happy to host Mental Health Week. They had a lot of participations. They created a lot of buzz and attention about mental health awareness and mental health in general. And I've asked Dr. Stacy Foster to come and talk about Mass Casualty Day.
And seeing as how I'm their boss, I have asked Amy Cunningham and Kim Shackelford to talk about the Mass Casualty Day, because they actually put in all the work, and we also have some students with us as well, with the paramedic program and the nursing program to participate in. So I thought,
We brought students.
so we just delegated down.
So
So,
the chair called the faculty called the students.
And unfortunately, they just went, okay, we'll come.
So we did have our mass casualty event for this semester. This year's natural disaster was an earthquake. So the students, we had 43 graduating students that participated as healthcare givers on the nursing side. And
We
then-
had 4 paramedic students and 12 EMT students participate on EMS side.
And then our first and third semester nursing students were the victims for the scenario. And so with that, I've actually asked for nursing, Dominique Pratt and Eric Pratt, her husband and wife. Dominique is actually getting ready to graduate on Friday, and she was one of the providers. And then Eric got to be a victim in the scenario. So you guys just want to tell them what it was like, what did you think about it?
It was really nice. We got to learn what it would be like to experience like the triage with the patients, and how we would set that up. The instructors would walk around and work out every scenario with this, so it's really informative. They helped us ask any questions that we may have. So it was, it was a great learning experience for the nurses.
On the victim side.
Yeah, I was first semester, so I was only a victim, but it was a great insight of what's coming to me. But it was a really great experience. The effort that was put in was amazing. So it was, between the EMT and the nursing side, it was just it was a lot of work, hard work went into that, and it showed. So, but we had a good time. I had a good time learning, and so pretty soon, I'll be on her side of it, and I'll get to experience that, so. But it was really good.
And this is Jacob Turner. He is one of our paramedic students. He's fixing to graduate Friday night with the contingent of finishing summer semester. And I'll let him explain his.
Yeah, it was a very valuable training, especially the fact of having the actors screaming, the loud noises, being in the dark. My time in the military, we did this a lot with our Marines. We were preparing to go overseas. We were doing a buildup. We would go into a place called Mount Town where we would simulate Iraq or Afghanistan. We'd apply stressors to make the training more difficult, because if you can perform a training under a stressful environment, you can really excel when it gets go time, because you're already in that mindset. And this is very similar. The way it was all set up with the acting, the noises, those are things that were going, the noises and the dark, the environment, those are things that we could possibly encounter out in the real world. So very valuable. That's what I would say.
So, just as a recap, I was there as an oversight, and I'll have you know that our EMS coordinator here, makes them train as it's gonna happen, and she throws them no life support. So earthquake, it happened in a plaster building, lights are completely out, like it would be if you were going in somewhere. So there were no lights. She did not supply them flashlights. She did not warn them that it was gonna happen. So they had to troubleshoot it on the fly. And so they really, really, really got no help. It was figure it out, let's go in there and do it, and train how you're gonna do it. And they did a really, really good job. We did a morning and an afternoon session, so they got to see it again in the afternoon, and we threw them a few curveballs in the afternoon to change it up. And we're loving that. But then our nursing students as well, I just want to say our victims were amazing. At one point, somebody was screaming out as a victim, "I knew I was going to die in nursing school." But the victims did an amazing job, and they're very real world. They have hard time containing them, especially in the afternoon or some hard time containing. So they really got a good experience of what it will be like, all the confusion and chaos, and hopefully it never happens in this region, but you know, it's probably just a matter of time before we'll have one, so.
And a lot of dead cell phones by the end of the day for their flashlights.
So yeah, thank you guys for letting me talk.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. We also held our retirements reception for our 5 retirees this year. It was very well attended. It was all of them had a chance to make comments, and once the first person made comments, then the rest were willing, all the way to the last one who felt forced. So the music department also held a Facebook Live music recital entitled Escape into Music. It was very, very well done. The students really did a great job. The faculty did a fantastic job setting it all up. They've actually gotten, this is, I believe, the 3rd one they've done, and they've gotten extremely good at handling the technology and producing something that is really, really high quality. So well worth the effort and well worth them putting into that. We have held our Achieve graduation ceremony. So each year, the Achieve program, which is our student support services trio grant, honors their students that are ready to graduate with a small ceremony that is held each year. So this year it was a little different. Generally, it is a food event with a sit-down meal, but because of the current COVID restrictions, we were not able to do that. So they did a miniature ceremony and allowed each student to get recognized. So also with us today is Dr. Paul Larson, our physics instructor, and Dr. Amy Kopp, chemistry, and they want to talk to you about the science presentation.
Well, I'm Dr. Paul Larson. I teach physics, survey physics, and the class portion of physical science. So I'm going to talk about one of the things that we did for the physical science class. We've been doing for the last 3 years or so. So physical science is a class which is taken most by people who are not majoring in science. So they learn a lot about physics, chemistry, astronomy, a whole wide range of things. One of the most important things that they're supposed to learn about is the scientific method. You ask a question, you try to explain why this is happening, you predict something, you do an experiment, and you find the results. So part of the class, I asked them to read scientific papers to actually find what these people who actually do this for a living, what they're actually doing, to find all these steps. But in addition to that, we actually got the students to actually do this themselves. I tell them about this the first day of class. The last week of class, we just did this 1 week ago. I asked them to make a presentation similar to one of these, and they have to actually do something. That's what's nice about this project. So here they're asking a question. You see there's the question. Here they predicted something. They did the experiment here, and then they showed the results. And they put these around the room at the last week of class. I have all the other students walk around, read them, give each of the other students a letter item, a grade from 1 to 5, so they actually read them. In order to understand, can I actually do this myself? I understand what the scientific method is. I've also invited our faculty and staff members to come up. I've had a dozen or more come up this past week. It's a good experience for the students. It's a good experience for the other people. Other people come up and actually see what we're doing. Let me give you an example. This is one from last fall, some of the letters are starting to fall off. But this is, here's a question, it's right in the title, which one of the rooms is the dirtiest? And so we ask a question here. We have these petri dishes where there's going to grow bacteria. bought these themselves. And they go to different rooms, like the bathroom, the kitchen, some of the bedrooms, and they swab these down. And they put these on here to see how much bacteria grows in each of these different rooms. And it's surprising, it's actually the bedrooms are the dirtiest. The clean, you think the bathroom, the kitchen would be worse. So we clean those places up often, right? Bedrooms you don't clean up quite as much. So actually, this tells you which rooms are the dirtiest. Here's another example, somewhat similar to this, but they have swatches of fabric, which have different types of stains on them, and they're cleaned with different things like bleach, OxyClean, soap and water, to see which rooms clean the best. And what's important about this is not what they do. I let the students pick whatever they want to do, but then can they actually think through? What am I trying to, what the question I'm trying to solve? How do I set this up? How do I get the answer? What do I find? We have a third one here, just to show you. So for instance, this one was actually done with some of their family, so they just took apple juice, and they added different food colorings to it. They asked them, so it actually tastes differently if it looks like different color. So I just found out recently that Fruit Loops, all the different colors, they're all tastes exactly the same. When you eat them, I'm sure that when I ate them as a kid, I always thought the yellow ones tasted a lot better than the red ones. But they actually do taste exactly the same. So that's what I do in my class, is kind of the students really enjoy it. They don't think they're going to enjoy it first day of class, they all right. But when they get to actually do it, they really don't enjoy it. They learn a lot. And unless other people from the community come up and see what they're doing. So I'll hand it over to you now.
Okay, thank you. So I do a poster project as well, except that I'm working with our STEM majors. So these are students enrolled in chemistry 2, Gen Chem 2. These are primarily students that are going to transfer their degree goals are to be a doctor, a vet, a pharmacist. So a lot of times my students have done things like a science fair poster. So I have quite a different approach. So what I have the students do is at the beginning of the semester, I ask them to do a literature search in the library, which is one of the first times they are required to look at databases and read journal articles and look for a primary research article. I feel like you can't see it down there, so I'm gonna put it up here. So the key with primary research is it has to be research that has an experimental portion, so it's not a review, if you're familiar with journal writing at all. And it's not an article, it's not a summary, it's the full thing. And it kind of starts to help them see how the scientific method ties into actually published research by R1 institutions. Because the articles follow the same sort of process in that you have a background, you create an experimental design, you collect data, you analyze and come to a conclusion. And so they're tasked with picking out a primary research article on a topic of their interest. So we get a wide range. And the goal really is for them to pick something they're interested in because they're planning to transfer and follow this. So I want them to look at something that's maybe useful for them going forward. This is one example of a poster that a student did on a multi-cell battery. And so one of the things I asked them to do with these posters is to incorporate in their design of the poster itself something having to do with the topic. Because poster sessions traditionally are very freeform. You would just go to a big conference center space and walk through and visit posters that draw your eye. So I want the students to work on not only understanding the material, but being able to deliver something visually that's engaging about the material. So this student in particular designed the different PowerPoint slides and laid them out so that it looks like a battery in parallel, just like the featured item in his research. And another example of a student that I really thought this was great to see a student use their artistic skills in a science class. That's not something we often get to do.
But this one was on neural response, and so they actually drew as a background a picture of the brain. So got to incorporate their artistic side as well. So the reason for this is really to introduce them to the official kind of how a scientist publishes their scientific method process for their research, expose them to research in their intended field, so they kind of get a sense of how it's written, what they're going to be maybe doing if they do undergrad research at a Darwin institution, and also to practice communicating the science itself, because beyond having this poster, we do the same thing that they then set up the poster in the classroom, and that's what actually the picture is highlighting this. And they go to their fellow peers and have to have their peer will kind of walk them through their presentation, their poster. And I actually have them fill out an evaluation where they have to ask the poster presenter a question on the research, say if they felt like they understood the research, would they want to pursue more information on the research, like did they engage the person that visited the poster, were they enthusiastic about the research? And I also visit each poster and I ask the hard-hitting questions to make sure they really understand the research. So it's a really good introduction, I think, for them to practice skills we don't normally touch on when it comes to like communication and presentation, which we as chemists normally we're just huddling in the corner doing math. So it's a nice change of pace. So that's the Chem 2 version of the poster project.
And then both of these projects in these classes are publicized so that members of the faculty, staff, and other students can come by, experience the students with their work. And I appreciate both Dr. Kopp and Dr. Larson coming and presenting this, because this is a really good example of how in the classroom, practical learning that makes a huge difference in how our students think about the material and how it builds a basis for them taking their next step happens. So it was an extremely nice balance. We've had athletic success, we have academic success. So everyone at the institution is moving forward and moving our students forward in very important ways. Thank you both. And I would like to call back up the Student Nurses Association. I believe Brandy Herring and Belinda McElhaney, and I missed one.
So Brandy Herring and Belinda McElhaney are the Nurses Association advisors. So they're going to talk to you. So they're public relations officer today, so I'll talk to you.
Go ahead. And Mrs. Holly Brown, our public relations officer.
Okay, so we did a hygiene closet competition between a few of our nursing classes to put hygiene products for Twin Rivers. We donated them to the Twin Rivers High School hygiene closet, and then we also had enough to donate to our hygiene closet here at Three Rivers. So in our 2 weeks between the classes, we ended up collecting 5,604 total items for the donations.
So the moral to the story is if you want something done, make it a competition in the no one wants to lose.
So the Student Nurses Association adopts a project every year. This year, it was an external project to adopt a nurse and make sure that they had the supplies that they needed. They intended to only do one and ended up being able to do more than one. So, and probably provide a surplus of supplies to everyone that they did. So great job. Thank you for coming and presenting this. Well done. And then on the literary front, the premiere of Confluence 2021, our award-winning literary magazine, which contains original works of literature from our students, our faculty, and our staff, was premiered in the Timmons Center to great acclaim. So it has been submitted to the Scholastic Press Awards Council for judging, and we'll know after the next round whether or not we continue our perfect streak of first choice winning with our literary magazine. And we were able to do our Phi Theta Kappa induction. Mr. Michael D'Angelo is there with the new inductees. This, of course, is the National Two-Year Honor Society. So these students were inducted because of their meritorious academic performance. It's always great to see, and it's great that they are able to come back together. It's been very difficult to gather this group of students under the current circumstances. So nice to see that moving ahead. And then closely related to that, we start off our commencement season with Student Excellence Awards. So this is where the faculty and staff select outstanding students, either because of their service or because of their academic performance in a particular discipline, and honor them for being outstanding and their fantastic achievements. So the night went well, many students were honored, and we've kicked off our commencement season. So upcoming events, we only have one of significance, and that is commencement. This Friday, 6 p.m., May 21st, in the Lively Family Sports Complex. We will award a huge number of academic credentials, and we will see almost 400 of our students walk across the stage to be honored. So we are geared up for the event. We, of course, were not able to do commencement last year. It is wonderful to be able to hold the commencement ceremony this year. About 50 students of our 2020 graduating class will be attending and be celebrated for last year's achievement, and the remainder will be from the 2021 class. We do have pandemic protocols in place, so masks will be required. And hopefully this is the last big event that masks will be required for. We are moving in that direction. And that, Mr. Chair, is the president's report.
Thank you, sir.
Summer hours begin May 31st through June 30th. So we'll go 4 days a week, 10 hours a day. There are no executive session items from the administration.
Okay. We'll take us to item number 6 on the agenda. We do have one financial policy revision to take a look at. Dr. Bennett.
Yes, this is simply an update of this policy and regulation to match our change to the learning resources charging format, where students do not have to burden themselves with wondering which book am I not going to buy because I can't afford it. Under our new structure, their books are provided for them, and we need to update the policy to reflect that.
Any questions on that? Move to approve this presented. Thank you.
I'll second that motion.
All right, motion and second. Roll call vote.
Trustee Hager?
Yes.
Trustee Garrison?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Featherston?
Yes.
Trustee Richardson?
yes,
Passes. Takes us to consideration and approval of all personnel action and associated documents.
Make a motion to approve all personnel action and associated documents.
Yeah, motion and second. Roll call vote.
Trustee Richardson?
yes,
Trustee Hager?
Yes.
Trustee Garrison?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Featherston?
Yes. Next board meeting is June 23rd. We have a motion to adjourn today.
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Second, all those in favor say aye. Aye. We're adjourned.
You cannot.
I thought for some reason while I was in my camera, I think very personal. The next.
I do too. So.
And
everybody.